196. Today we're going to break down the Inman article, which is the 7 lies unsuccessful agents believe that are holding them back in their real estate business. We're going to get started right now. Let's go. That's right. Episode 196. We're almost there.
So close.
Almost there to the 200th episode in retirement day for us.
Yep. That's where we're going to sell the show.
Yeah. How much would we take for this show?
$1.
I mean, Kelderman's eyes lit up.
I just thought it would be funny just to see what numbers people were throwing out. Like, I don't know.
I would say 200 episodes. It's probably worth at least $10,000 an episode.
Yeah.
If Easy. Mr. Beast said he might take 20 or 30 billion for his YouTube channel, then we will take 1 billion for ours.
Yes.
All right, Bill Gates.
What did Rogan get? $100 million for Spotify?
Yeah.
Ours is
sounds fair.
200 million.
We're double that.
We're more niche.
Yeah.
There's riches in the niches.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So
yeah, and we're getting rich off our sponsors.
Yes,
Right, Theron? We're getting rich off of our sponsors. And we're going to start with Theron Smith.
Check something here real fast.
With Armadillo Home Warranty. You're looking to get that hard shell protection coverage, Theron. He's going to personally give it to you. He's going to build a dome over your house, and he's going to protect you. And all you need to do, actually, breaking news, Theron is not giving us the protection. But you can go right now to armadillo.one/tour. And maybe next week he will give you the protection and the dome to be built around it. But armadillo.one/tour, T-O-R-E, and get that home warranty. And look, right now, I just read something in one of the Inman articles that there was a Fannie Mae survey that said 80% of people out there believe it's a good time to buy a home, which is actually a little shocking because I'm telling you, everything goes against. I think they're just throwing random surveys out because now they want people to start buying.
You know, when they do like 4 out of 5 doctors recommend, they just ask as many doctors as they can until they get 4 in a row that say yes.
Yes. So 80%, according to this Fannie Mae survey, 80% believe it's a great time to buy a house. And we're going to go with it because Mortgage Mike is giving you those Mortgage Mike stamp of approval. He's giving loans left and right. Maybe with Theron's Armadillo Home Warranty, but maybe not, just depending. It's like $500, but I don't know if Theron is there or not.
Yeah, I mean, the possibilities would be endless if they were there.
But Mortgage Mike is just giving those Mortgage Mike stamp of approvals. All you need to do is go to mmgloans.com. That's Mortgage Mike Group, so mmgloans.com, and let them know that you want that the only real estate podcast worth listening to stamp of approval.
We gotta get him a better website.
Yeah, MMG. He had the Mortgage Mike one, but he changed it up a little bit. He wanted to shorten it because I keep making fun of him because Mortgage Mike, the Mortgage Mike loans or whatever he had before.
Mortgage Mike.
It's a long thing.
Mortgage Mike of Texas is like people are too lazy. Like I've got big fingers and I'm typing it on my phone like Mortgage Mike of Texas, and then I go back and it's not working because I put in a different letter.
Dude, that
one of my original solo attempts at naming my real estate self was just Matt Kelderman Realty. And I didn't think to make myself Matt at Matt Kelderman. I was Matt Kelderman at mattkeldermanrealty.com. It was
60 letters.
So many
Why
letters.
couldn't you just be MKG?
Dude, why didn't I do a lot
Isn't
of
that
things
a rap?
early in my career?
What was that?
Machine Gun MGK.
MGK.
Yeah, that's
See, I was close. I was close.
That is how spoiled we are, though. It's like, do you do the thing when you're trying to Google something on your phone and it's something specific so it doesn't auto-populate?
Yeah.
At that moment in your head, you're like, I have to actually type this whole thing.
Yeah.
We're so spoiled.
That's the problem. I used to be great at spelling. I used to be an amazing speller. Today, I can't spell.
We get annoyed about the stupidest crap because my car automatically has the thing where when you stop, it turns itself off.
Yes.
And I hate it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hate that feature so much. One, takes a second to start after I left the brakes. I can't gauge it. I'm sure there is a way to permanently turn it off, but my car also has a button that you push that I'm like, every time I get in my car and I drive off and it stops that first time, I'm like, damn it. And I push the button, and the rest of that drive until I turn it off, we're fine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, as soon as I get out, I'm going to fix this. And as soon as I get out, every time I've forgotten.
But
Look
you know,
in your
hold on,
manual,
Brian.
I guarantee you the way is to hold the button down.
Probably.
Until it beeps.
That's probably all it is.
That's it's probably super simple.
And I have yet to do that. And every time I get in and just push the button and then argue with myself about it.
You know who never turns off?
Who?
Dana Wynn.
She doesn't.
She never gets turned off.
No,
on that.
she does
No.
not.
No. So over at Homeward Property Management, if you're looking for a property management company in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you need to get with Dana Wynn. All you need to do, go to Homeward DFW. Short enough. HomewardDFW.com, and go and fill out that rental analysis. If you're a landlord, you're an investor, or if you're an agent that has some investors that are looking to convert that property into a rental, just don't let them do it themselves. It's leverage. They need to leverage their time out. HomewardDFW.com. So, all right, today's episode.
Tourstudios.com.
Oh yeah, God, we got another one.
We have so many amazing sponsors.
Yeah,
I'm still convinced. I've been listening to Rogan. I think we need to just do one ad in the middle of this bad boy that Rogan does.
yeah, but this is my favorite part of the
I
show.
know. It is his favorite part.
I'm going to tell you, I like messing with the sponsors, and then I'm like, I could go home after this.
Yeah, honestly, that's just the show.
Yeah, I don't really want to do the 7 lies unsuccessful agents or believe.
I was reading through these. I'm like, shit.
You're like, oh, I do.
I've
believe
said a couple of these.
Yeah. Tour Studios. Look, if you want a podcast just like this, if you just want to go read ads online and go live and make some reels. I was talking to a lady yesterday, by the way. Quick story. Then we'll get into the show, I promise. Okay. So stay tuned. Leave us a 5-star review on podcast and YouTube and subscribe. But she's a brand new agent getting into the business, thinks it's the perfect time to do so, which it is. And she left teaching. She was in the teaching industry. She left that and became an entrepreneur, and now does marketing and branding. Really does the reel, and helps people building out their IG reels and all the TikToks and everything else. And so if you want to get an amazing reel, you want to have an awesome podcast that's ranked in the top 23 of Inman, just like we are, then you need to get with Jesse Showalter over at Tour Studios. Tourstudios.com. He'll make you some awesome video just like this.
I will.
Yes, he will. Check it out.
Yeah. Show's over.
Mm-hmm. All right, boys.
7 lies that unsuccessful agents believe that are holding them back.
Okay, so this is on Inman?
This is on Inman.
How much I was asking this pre-show, how much does Inman cost?
It's a lot. I think I pay like $1,000 a year.
Feels like a lot. Is it just a blog, basically?
It definitely checks out.
For as long as I've been doing this, I've just never really been like super immersed in like the Inman culture. It's just articles. It's just articles.
Well, I think it's like
seems like a lot of money.
it's a paywall. And
I love that Brian's confused by how news. So it's just articles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's like, is there anything else they offer? Because it
I don't
seems
think they
like
do.
I don't know.
I just wait for everybody to get pissed off in lab code agents or real estate mastermind, and then I figure out what it's all about.
Yeah, that's kind of where I get a lot of my
And the only
news.
real estate group worth being a part of.
For sure.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Exactly.
Kelderman, without going to
Well,
lab
look,
codes.
our group's amazing, but you get 200,000 freaking people, and half of them are morons, and they're arguing about something. It's awesome.
Half is generous.
Yeah. And when we started the only real estate group worth being a part of, this is part of the 7 lies that agents, unsuccessful agents tell themselves and believe it, is that we told ourselves a lie that we didn't want to have the lab coat type agents in the only real estate group worth being a part of. Because the number one question they always ask is, what's the best CRM, Matt?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that one of the 7 lies on here? Is the CRM is the difference maker?
Yes,
It
in
could
your
be.
business.
It
It
could
should be. That's lie number. That's
Yeah.
bonus lie number 8.
Yeah.
If you stay around to the end of the show.
So this is, in this article, it talks about don't believe the lies, right? The market has an abundance of opportunities right now. And look, in the Keller Williams world, mega camp is going on right now.
Yes, it is.
I know Gary Keller was on stage and was talking about the rolling recessions that are happening, which we do believe. Don't you worry about that, Heather. At least you were listening. It was a test and you passed.
I know. I've seen the charcuterie boards that Heather puts together.
Exactly.
Too, so.
Yeah.
She hasn't done one in a
Which,
while.
by
We
the
did
way,
have
I
one.
appreciate. Keep doing that.
Yes. And so I know that Gary Keller was talking about these rolling recessions, and the economists and everyone wanted to have a soft landing because we were worried about hitting a really massive recession.
Right.
And they believed that we had a soft landing. And these rolling recessions, what they're now being called, is that certain sectors of the market are going to be in recession, in a recessionary feel and decline, while other segments and sectors of the market just boom.
Is that overall scarier or better?
Oh man,
That's a good question.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It seems a little less scary than just some cataclysmic drop in the United States' ability to do things. But then also it's like, that seems like a prolonged
does.
situation that will just overall keep consumers freaked out.
I mean, look, misery loves company, so I would rather just, if I'm going through the pain, I want everyone
knock
to go
it all
through it.
out
Like,
at
look,
once.
08 was great because
Yeah.
pretty much everyone was going through the shit.
Yeah.
I think that it's like it's a lot like COVID. Like human beings are just massively adaptable. Like everybody had their opinions, and there's lots of turmoil and things like that. But like you look back, and like we all had hard opinions on, you know, certain things and masks and all this type of stuff. But like we pretty much adapted to how life was going to be pretty quickly. And then actually we kind of forgot about it relatively quickly after we started to move on too. Like the rolling recessions things is very interesting though, because like one of the reasons I believe that we have this like rolling recession like theory going forward is like the way information flows these days. Like markets are just based on sentiment. If everybody thinks the market's going to go down, then they sell and the market goes down. That's how markets work all across the board, right? And when things happen so quickly because the distribution of information is lightning quick now, like it's not like you're reading about something in the paper days later anymore. So like where you used to have a Great Depression in the 30s, right? Well, dude, you'd only see your stock ticker once a day in the newspaper, right? And information didn't flow as fast. And so now
everyone back then thought it was bad, or it was maybe just one segment,
Yeah.
but everyone's like, you know, you're reading it once a day, and you're like, oh, everything's bad.
yeah, and you just had fewer sources of information too.
Yeah.
Now, like, there's so much information all the time, and it flows so quickly that, like, I think you're going to go through. Oh, I said it one more time. I think we're going to go through economic cycles like so much faster now, which I don't know if that's better or worse. I just think we'll get used to it. Yeah. We'll just get used to bull runs being a year long, and then recessions being 6 months, and then it'll just where it used to be 5 years and 2 years, or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think it's as bad. I mean, you know, according to, again, you know, Gary Keller, you know, talking to the mega camp agents and everything else, he mentioned that real estate's in the recession part. Mm-hmm. They're in the rolling recession. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the reason bringing up these 7 lies is because he did, you know, I'm reading these articles because I'm not with Keller Williams, so I'm just reading all the headlines and articles coming out. And one of it was, and we were just discussing before we went live on the show, is that, you know, this year, it's projected that we should hit about 4.5 million, you know, transactions, which is down from the 6.21 or whatever it was from the last 2 years. And to say like that's bad, not really, because when we hit the bottom of the 08 recession, it was like 10 or 11, and those were 4.3 or 4.5 million transactions as well. So we're kind of there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you know, according to Gary and some other, you know, research analysis, is that, you know, can it really get below that? I mean, we'd probably have to have some bad stuff happen.
I just don't think it just enough life happens. People move for a million different reasons, and I think that you just can't go super far lower than that because people get married, they have kids. Unfortunately, people get divorced, they change jobs. Like, there's so many reasons that
Matt brought up people die.
I did bring that up.
So,
yeah, thanks a lot.
You know, it happens.
Bringing the room down.
Jovially.
Yeah, it happens.
You were so happy about it. Jeez, I've never seen you light up. Even like I didn't even know he was listening. And so this is one I like this one because we all tell ourselves this lie, especially when we're newer. At least I did when I got in. Lie number 1 is top agents get all the business and there's no more room at the top.
Bro, I still can fall trap to this one.
Yeah.
Like this, I don't think this goes away because this plays on the human factor of like we're always looking at somebody who's doing something we're not, right? Like no matter how big you get, you're always looking at the person that's like doing something you're not and be like, damn, why can't I do there, right? Like that's just the being unsatisfied part because I'll admit like there's people in our world that I see that are doing stuff and I'm like, shit, man, like who didn't I call or what did I not do? Like, why isn't my Facebook have that many posts on it about the deals I'm doing, right?
You know what? That's funny because it was last week. There was this group that made an announcement that they were going, and we know this agent, right? So I don't know if you know Brian, but Matt and I know this agent, and I think it was a past client of yours. And this person announced that they're starting an expansion team, a Dallas expansion real estate team with this large group. And I immediately went into this kind of scarcity mindset. I'm like, oh my gosh, like how am I going to compete? Because this group sells like 3,000 houses a year. And I'm like, wait, what am I talking about? I've lived here my whole life.
Yeah.
And so we still do it no matter where we are. And again, that lie number one is top agents that we tell ourselves is this lie is top agents get all the business and there's no room at the top, which we know is not true.
Yep.
But we want to start giving ourselves, I think we want to start believing why we're not getting any business. Like, well, it's because they're a top agent, I'm not.
Yeah, and I think that we add to our own frustration because it's like, don't we do the thing sometimes where we see, we all have a tendency to, like, we see really successful people or agents or whatever, and we also sort of get judgmental. We're like, I'm a better agent. Why am I not doing better, right? And it's like,
or you'd be like, that person, I'm so much more smarter than they are.
Exactly. So we
much more smart,
much more smarter. So we like double down on it. There is an abundance of opportunity in real estate at all times. We just had an episode a few weeks ago about how marginal agents take 35% of the market or something like that. So it's actually not that difficult to be better than at least 50% of the agents out there, probably. Just in your own sphere of influence, you've probably got enough deals out there to hit your goals for the most part. It's just about what you're doing every day.
Yeah.
Top agents are not taking your opportunity.
No.
If people
you're taking your own opportunity.
As I was going to say, if you weren't even in the competition, then they're not taking your opportunity.
It's the same way that I say, like, I'm going to win the lotto, but I will never win the lotto because I never play it.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I'm taking myself out, even though I really want to win it. But only, like, I just look at it, I'm like, I'm never going to be a winner. I'm never going to be the top lotto winner. And it's true because I don't play.
You might not play the lotto, but you do scratchers.
I love scratchers. I'm an instant gratification type of person.
Well, and I think there's an aspect of this first one that also just goes into the fact that, like, we're being told that every year has to be better than last year, right? That the dollars that you have to make are X amount of dollars every month, and that needs to increase. And $1 million is the sexy number, right? Like, we hear this stuff.
Now
like,
it's $1 million now, yeah.
Yeah, like you hear all this stuff all the time, and like the big thing about this that all of us have been coached on for years, if I was giving a new agent advice, is just like find out what your metric for your current life is and get there and be happy, right? And like build on that, because if you're constantly, I did this, I've told both you guys this, I did this with you guys for years. I was trying to make my financial goals what your financial goals were. And I realized somewhere along the way that I still got to go on the same vacations as you guys did without making the same amount of money. Like, it reaches a point where, like,
we paid for you?
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Wait. That's smart.
I did when we first started traveling. I had just paid Brian back cash for everything, and I was just like, put it on your credit card, and I was paying you back cash.
I was happy. I got the points.
Right? But I didn't even understand the point of that, right? But like, I think the thing is, sometimes we just think the metric for what success looks like is so high that you can be in the top 20% of your life without being in the top 20% of like real estate agents, and you'll be much happier that way.
But I think the lie that we tell ourselves before we move on to lie number 2 is that, and a buddy of mine who's a client of Homeward, so homeward@dfw.com, the best property management company in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, maybe soon to come Wichita Falls. But we were talking, he was telling me about a buddy of his, because we were talking about, I'm having this come to Jesus moment about money as well. Like, almost the realization that Matt has had. I know Brian and I
talked about it.
We talked about it this morning, yes. And so, I always wanted to have private jet money.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, this buddy of mine and his family member who was like, man, I'm going to have FU money.
Yeah.
And he's telling me about what this guy does, makes like $40,000 a year. Newly married, he's like, one day, new wife, we're going to have FU money. But what my buddy was telling me about this guy is that he's like, he's not doing anything. It's just all talk.
Yeah.
Right. And so, we have to take action, which is, it's all talk on, man, I want to be a top agent. I just can't because there's no more room because there's all these people are doing all the business. How do you think they got there in the first place? They just took action.
They just took action. That's like to marry those two together. That's such fantastic advice. If what other people are doing is stopping you from doing what you want to do and being happy, like, that's your fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're afraid of, like, there's too many top agents up there, there's no room or whatever, couple of things. We've been talking about this a lot lately. It's just because we've all been through trials and tribulations in our businesses and the world and rolling recessions, all this type of stuff. we've all made tons of money in our careers, and we've not one of us has worked enough on being happy in our lives.
Yep. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so if that thing is like, if that's discouraging you, because there's not enough room at the top, one, do you even need to be at the top to be happy? And two, I guarantee you, if you just took your actions to hit your goals, the people at the top, you wouldn't be on their radar. They wouldn't be on
what's
ours.
the
And
top?
you know, and what exactly? And it was because I will tell you, we've all been to the mountaintop from a numerical standpoint. It doesn't feel like you're standing there.
No,
at
and
all.
there's actually a higher top that you can
There's
still
a
go
way
to.
higher top.
Yeah.
There are no rooms that you can stand in where there will not be other
are
people
so
that
many-
you're like nervous about.
Dude, there are so many false summits
Yeah.
in your financial life where you get to the top and you're like, I just hiked up this. I use every ounce of energy
Yep.
I have to get to the top of this thing, and you're like, there's another fucking hill.
Yes.
Like, how is that possible,
It
dude?
never ends. So
Yes.
so true.
All right, lie number 2. So the lie number 2 is the market is too difficult to gain market share. The market is too difficult to gain market share. And it says, it is a fact that there's been fewer transactions closed this year than there were from the same period last year. But opportunities are all around us. Many unsuccessful agents believe that this challenging market makes it too difficult to gain market share. And actually, nothing could be further from the truth. And so, I mean, we have seen it. Number one, we've always believed is that the best time to gain market share is during a recession or during a pullback, which the reason being is that everyone's mind goes to this type where they want to slow down or they want to stop pushing themselves out there or they stop doing what got them successful in the first place because they weren't getting the same traction that maybe they were. So they're like, this doesn't work anymore.
The rejection increases, right? It's
Yes.
so hard to get told no. And like, when I first came to Keller Williams back in the day, one of the things they said when I was first being trained is like, in times like this, you just need to double your efforts. And that while that is actionably correct, also, how do I double my resilience for the ass kicking I'm taking? Because that's what keeps keeping me away from doing the activities is the fear part. And when I got to get told no twice as much, that if I was reluctant to do it before, I'm for sure not doing it now.
That's the part they don't tell you is like, feel like getting punched in the face twice as often too, and you got to work twice as hard. Like, leave that part out. It's not untrue, and that's just the reality you got to accept sometimes. We've all had to accept that lately in our business. Is just we've just got to work harder. It's but it's easy to just say that.
And when we say we got to work harder, we feel like the last several years we've been working hard, and in reality, we were working hard for that market, but the traditional normal market, we weren't working that hard.
The things that were happening in that market were we were having to have a lot of disappointing conversations with our clients.
Yes.
The thing that's happening in this market is no one wants to talk to you. Right? And those are not the same kinds of disappointment at all.
Yes.
I feel very fortunate to sit across the table from you, though, because one of the things that you do, and you're doing it right now, is you are very actionable about when shit is going wrong and work needs to be done again. You step back in your business in one way specifically right now, which is, I think, crazy that you're doing, right? But it's what's necessary and required.
Yeah.
And I think it's awesome. But like, I understand how some people who don't get to see what that looks like, right? They don't have the people around them to see what like doubling down really looks like. Because there are points where I think we forget that some stuff is still our job. I know I've forgotten that before. Like some stuff that I have given away because I became too big for it, right?
Yeah.
Like that's still part of what got me there. And I think for some people, that's what's happening in their business right now too. They don't remember what it's like to step back and dive in because they've been out of it for too long.
What's that? Or we have this mentality of like when we're building our business, like, man, once I make it, I'm never going to have to do this again. Yep. And it's like, no, you're making it because of what you're doing right now,
Right.
which goes to lie number 3. But before on that one, to wrap up number 2 is at the end of this Inman article for lie number 2, which is the market is too difficult to gain market share. When you're willing to do things others are not willing to do today, you will have success others won't have tomorrow.
This is echoing everywhere right now. There's a reel going around of Ice Cube saying, "Don't get mad about the things you didn't get for the work you didn't put in." Right?
Yes.
This is that type of mentality. Like we are,
Jesse, put that reel up.
There have been a few things that, like, we do live in a society right now where sometimes it doesn't seem okay to just tell people cold hard truth. And the reality is right now, like, all of this stuff is nice, but you're just going to have to work a lot harder, and you're probably going to be appreciated a little bit less, and that will pay off when the sun's out again.
Yeah.
Right? Like it will.
Yeah.
I didn't see that last comment.
Who is that one?
I don't know.
So whoever Facebook user is, like, again, you're not showing up. So this person wrote, I think in easier times we work as hard as we need to for the success, in quotes, to be ours. And then when it gets hard, we decide to work for the same or less because we are scared we can't be successful now.
Yeah.
No, that's 100%. Yeah. So we appreciate that. I don't know who Facebook user is, so we'll thank you here in the comments.
It was on one of the secondary pages.
So lie number 3, cold calling doesn't work, right? The lie that cold calling doesn't work is an excuse unsuccessful agents make based on their fear of the phone and not based on facts.
I love to tell myself this
every
once in a while, and then I get on the phone and set an appointment in the first hour, and I'm like, damn it. Every single time I try and convince myself that this is not a part of my business, it just is.
Yeah.
And the other thing about cold calling too is like, it's just like I think this is one we need to spend a minute on. It's just talking to another human. Nick and his squad, I think, have always and Brian, like as an individual, have always been really, really good at asking the right questions. I am not good at asking the right questions. I am good at just talking to people and relating to them. And while my calls take longer, they are effective, even though you don't necessarily know how to close, because I don't.
Well, this talks about, and Brian, I'm sure you can chime in on this because we've done this before, right? So you and I, this is how we built a lot of our business too, is that, so in the Inman article, it says making effective calls is driven by 3 key factors. Calling with information that is desired or not readily available. So what type of information does somebody want? They say a homeowner this, but anybody you're calling, what does that person want?
Guess what? The expireds you're calling don't want a free valuation of their home, by the way.
Who offers that?
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
Agents who call and don't really have anything to say other than I can tell you what your home's worth and I'll market it properly. Like that's like that is why we have the Monday calls with the backer. Like that's why you have a lender partner because that's the information that you go in armed with, because chances are the reason they expired is they weren't getting any of that before.
Well, and that's part of it. So right, they want information on sales activity, or they want something that's on information or educational material that's how it's going to affect their home value, right? The second part, what you just said about being able to when you're using Mortgage Mike to get to update you on the market, it's talking about calling the right people. Right. And when we call the right people with the right information about what they're wanting. So if you're calling expired, look, you said they don't want a free home valuation, right? They don't want to be told why their home didn't sell because they obviously know it didn't sell. It wasn't sold. Yeah. Right. They want to feel comfortable. They want to feel confident. They want to know that their home can actually sell because they're probably frustrated. They probably feeling let down. They're maybe sad and depressed because they told everyone their house is for sale and it didn't. Maybe they're a little embarrassed because no one wanted their home. Like, that's all personal. Like, the houses and the places that we live in, that's very personal and emotional.
100%.
Yeah.
The reason we don't cold call, realistically, we know those things. Has nothing to do with that. We're just, we hate. Charlie gave me a book to read on emotional regression right now. It's fascinating. And because I never really experienced that in cold calling, because that was the one thing I always did well. Like, I just think it frazzled. Same as you, like around conversations with strangers. I'm always bad with my sphere, honestly, calling them. I was always way worse with them, right? We don't cold call because we hate the feeling, the insecurity, the smallness, all that type of stuff. And we tell ourselves it doesn't work because it actually, I think that's a really good one. Like, that's not necessarily a lie. That's just irrelevant. Cold calling actually doesn't work like 90% of the time, but you don't need it to. We just allow that emotional regression, that smallness, that feeling of rejection to stop us from moving forward. Cold calling needs to only work like 1 or 2% of the time for you to make as much money as you want. We just don't allow ourselves to get there.
No, and we don't accept it. So, that there on this Inman article, it says the third key element on the calling is calling at the right time. So according to HubSpot, the best days to call are Wednesdays and Thursday, which today's happened to be Wednesday. Wednesdays and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Okay.
And from 4 to 5 p.m. Mondays and Tuesdays outperform Fridays. Mondays and Tuesdays outperform Fridays through Sundays as well.
You know what I like about that, though, is that some of the reasons for not cold calling are I don't want to call people too early in the morning, right? Because I don't want to annoy them. Like, there's your out right there. Like, you can call, and evening cold calling's actually probably way better than for the right type of people, right?
Yes.
For the right type of leads, with the right type of information. That's going to be a great time to reach those people.
Yeah.
Every time we've done a call night, it was highly
We
successful.
have call night tonight and tomorrow.
Nice.
And so look, that was lie number 3, that unsuccessful agents tell themselves that cold calling doesn't work. Lie number 4, marketing is too expensive.
I mean, that's just super generic, right? A couple of things. I think that people tend to get into this business without. I mean, I did it. I had a second job. People tend to get in this business without kind of the right financial footing to start a business. They don't realize like they're starting a business.
But what's the definition of marketing?
Yeah, I guess that's also a
Right?
good question. is
Like if
because-
you go stand on the side of the road on a busy highway
Right.
with a sign,
Yeah,
are you marketing yourself?
technically, sure. Yeah.
Like that's a billboard, right? You're just the one holding it.
So that's super generic, right?
Yeah.
I think what they're saying is marketing is too expensive for the return you get if you're not going to be consistent about the activities, right? Like that's the people that just spend a fortune on Zillow leads but never really follow up with them or anything, and then say that they're too expensive and they don't work.
Or they start trying to geo farm something with like mailing stuff, or they're
Yeah.
just dumping money into
Yeah.
trying to remove themselves from a part of the business that they're not supposed to be removed from yet.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's where I've always screwed myself in that. Right.
And it talks about in here, so look, in generic marketing, so we're going to use generic. It doesn't say that in the article, but, just marketing in general doesn't have to be expensive. While that may have been true in the past, building a desirable personal brand, like if you were to go to Tour Studios, it's not that expensive to get with Jesse and get some airtime like this.
Heck yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, I would hire Tour Studios if I'm you and you're listening to this, which you are. Then I would go to tourstudios.com, schedule a consultation with Jesse, and ask him how you can become that community champ. I'm going to steal Nick's Krim word.
I like that.
Friend of the show, Nick Krim, community champ. And I would start this podcast. Let's see, we can't use that. I can, because we own the show.
That's true.
Yeah.
But other people can't.
The best real estate podcast worth listening to. Right? So I'd start that one. And I would then go interview business owners in the community to bring them on my show. And I would have them promote it. So I would just, my expense of marketing is going to be Tour Studios, but then in return, I'm going to ask that business owner to go promote it to everyone they know.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep. And they're going to use it. They got to give me credit and everything else.
Boom.
So get with Jesse at tourstudios.com.
Good spot.
Yeah.
Good job.
I think we need to use that, by the way.
Yeah.
Right, Jesse?
In general, though,
think
right?
we might.
Like, it's the idea that marketing is too expensive. One, I firmly believe if you're over the age of 25, you already know enough people in your world that you can do consistent deals just through your own conversations. You are your own best marketing and advertisement, right? Your voice coming out of your mouth is always your own best advertisement. And two, I'd ask, what is your strategy, right? Like, are you just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks? And is that why it's too expensive? I don't know that it's the marketing that's too expensive. It might be your approach, and you're not necessarily running the business like a business just yet.
Well, and you can just flip the whole thing on its head. And again, we're loosely defining marketing here because it's going to change for each person. But there's so much stuff that you could do just by going out in public and being an attractive character and caring about other people more than you care about yourself and smiling at people. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot you can do just by having a game plan and going out and marketing yourself at community stuff like you were talking about.
Let's all right, if you can't afford Tour Studios, so let's assume that you can't, and Jesse's very affordable.
He is.
Very.
But, in this article it says social media marketing is free to extremely inexpensive costs. So depending on your desired results. So videos can be shot on your phone, edited in free apps like Canva. And so, what you could do if you were just doing some free generic or really inexpensive is guess what? You can go Facebook Live and go interview those local business owners and do it like that until you get the studio format. 100%. Right? You don't, there's if you stay consistent, like if you were to do a real estate news segment every day at 11 a.m., Matt Kelderman Real Estate News at 11, and you go in and just bring up local news articles of what's going on in the real estate market and just went live every single day, are you telling me that you probably won't? You're probably going to get some traction or not traction.
I can tell you that works because it might also be the format for this show, right? Like, I mean, it's not like dead on that, but we've watched Christina Smallhorn come on the show, and she built 200,000 YouTube followers and now refers out tons of business to agents around the country, plus the own personal business she gets just from starting a YouTube channel where she started talking about, she started with tiny homes, and now she does really great videos on just local or on national real estate news.
I would do it on mansions. I don't want to talk about, like, if I'm going to go down a niche, I want to go with the uber wealthy. I don't want to. I don't want to be known as the tiny home person. I want to be the mansion home person.
I don't know, because that's weird. It's funny to hear you say that, because I also think like I want to appeal to the larger group of people. That's what I want to appeal to, right? Like whoever that is. Like, one thing that I have figured out in the past few years of my life is the power of percentages, right? Like, when you're younger, you don't think 20% of anything matters very much until you get 20% of something, and you're like, that can be quite a bit.
It can be a hell of a lot.
I don't want to be 20% fatter, right? Like, is that number so small now? Yeah, no, it's not. What's lie number 5? Oh, I got lie number 5.
Yeah, lie number 5. Lie number 5. I'm just sorry, I was texting Dana.
I know.
Lie number 5 is direct mail is dead.
Dead and gone.
Right? The reason why so many agents still send just listed and just sold cards is because they work. I'm going to disagree with that one, but I think that there needs to be a better call to action, which I think Brian has a good one on this one.
Yeah, it just depends on what you like. When you say direct mail is dead, a couple of things. I've actually always had the idea that like direct mail is actually sort of cyclical. Like when everybody's doing it, it kind of stops working, and then people stop doing it, and then it kind of starts working again. But it's also like it can lead to so many different things, right? If you're just sending postcards and you don't have any call to action, well, then that's not going to work at all. If your call to action in this day and age is to call you, that's also not going to work either. At the very least, you need a scannable QR code that goes to some sort of call to action where they get immediate value, and then you can, behind that, do remarketing to them and things like that. Like, direct mail isn't dead. Direct mail is actually a very useful piece of a broader marketing strategy that would involve digital marketing, probably door knocking if you really want to like be more deeply influential and stuff. Like yes. The idea that you can just send out a bunch of postcards and get listings, that idea has actually always been dead, though.
I will tell you, I remember we were doing a lot of direct mail back in the day, and we were sending out like 20,000 a month or 25,000 a month. And it worked really well. But before that, when I was just kind of dabbling in it, I was testing out, I was reading Dan Kennedy's No BS sales letter.
Oh, yeah.
And I was testing out USPs, and I was going with the the traditional guaranteed sold one, and I didn't have a marketer. Like, I was the one designing and editing it, and it was those back in the early 2010 era, so it was like 2011 or 12.
Yeah,
and so the online graphic editors weren't great the way they are now, and I was typing something up. I was like, all right, I like it. Sent it, and one of them comes to us for proof. Like, after it was already sent. So it's like, how do you get it? How do you get something for proof of concept when you've already hit send and you've already paid for it and it's already getting mailed out? And my brother Austin looked at it. He's like, dude, you're a fucking idiot. I'm like, what? He's like, you spelled guarantee wrong.
Oh, no.
I got like 3 calls. And
about that?
No. Because no one's reading. I was like, I did it on purpose. I played it off. I was like, I spelled it wrong on purpose just to make sure people knew it was real, not professional.
Yeah.
But like, just go ahead and do it. Like,
that's hysterical.
Yeah, I got 3 calls off of it back then.
Hey.
I mean, I didn't get any business, I don't think. But
that's so funny.
But now that's part of one of the direct mail strategies is to purposely misspell stuff.
Oh, people do it. They use it for social media all the time.
Yes.
I mean, inside reels and in the little fucking title thing.
Yeah.
Because it'll get people just comment. At the very least, they'll call you an idiot.
Yes.
Yeah. Then you're just getting more juice. 100%.
Like, I'm like, you're playing into their hype. Like, why are people not like?
Draper did this the other day. I don't know if you saw it, but I commented on him. I was like, I just commented, got him.
Yeah.
I
saw you say got him.
Yeah, because he like commented like, hey, real estate agents, stop posting your just sold about yourself. Like, nobody cares. Which, if you go and read like Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, nobody does care about you. They care about themselves, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's how you should be talking to the consumer, is getting to know them more. But I was just watching this thread below up with agents arguing with him. And I was like, they don't even understand. Like he's just proving his point, right?
Oh my God!
You know what? That's something that mattered to them.
Yeah.
You know what I love is you're reading that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and it's still relevant because that's an older book.
It's at least from the 70s because his references kind of stop.
Yeah,
that book's
inside
from
the
the 30s.
70s. Well, I think
it's an updated one.
I think there's an update. Yeah,
okay.
I think there's an updated version of it because I'm audibling it right now. So I'm having.
Is
it
he the
read
one
to
reading
me.
it?
Yeah. Well,
No, I think he's long gone. So, but yeah, he makes a lot of reference to Teddy Roosevelt stuff, and then he references some stuff from the 70s, which is a little bit interesting. But it's funny
there's
because
an update. The first one's 36. Okay, so there's a new one.
The Audible uses a lot of, just like the book does, it uses a lot of storytelling, and some of the stories are very antiquated. It's
Yeah.
It's almost like you're like, I'm not even sure you can really say that, man.
You definitely probably can.
There's a couple things like that, but the way because this was how we were taught to treat people at Houston's, right? Like Houston's, it's just dining, right? But it's upscale casual dining, industry standard for service for a long, long time, right?
Yeah.
And it's essentially the first 10 things he talks about in there is exactly how you're supposed to greet and speak to people. Use their names, smile at them.
Yes.
Right? Like.
Wasn't there another book of How to Win Friends and Influence by like Robert Carfin or like?
I'm sure there's a
another
couple.
one. It's a white book, red lettering.
Are you thinking about Power?
No,
the White Book of Red Lettering is another print. Scroll up, Jesse. That's another print of this one.
Charles Manson
but I thought it was like
used
a
what he learned from the book in prison to manipulate women into killing.
Bro, here's what I've said this all the time, and I've
your dreams are within reach.
I've said this. The people who are really great at business and the people who are serial killers or high level manipulator, negotiator, sales type people, like it's the same skill set.
That's
Just
why
one
we're
is
not.
used
That's
for
why
evil
we're
and
not
one
top
is used for
agents.
good.
That's why all of us here are not top.
You know,
Yeah.
the same thing the same social skills you use to talk to somebody of the opposite sex that you're interested in is the exact same skill that you use when you're talking to clients to try and get them to like you.
Yeah, 100%.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Super
Well,
true.
I'm terrible at that. So.
Exactly. Yeah. Lie number 6 is top agents keep all the secrets on how to generate business. That is actually
so
100% true.
So true.
They're hoarding all the secrets.
Yes, all.
I will say
unless you go to Tor, what was it? Take 10.
Take the
Backslash- it was
tour
was it
academy.com.
Touracademy.com.
Backslash take 10.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
touracademy.com.
For those of you who don't know,
we
we tried to start a coaching company out of this.
if you want to learn how to take 10 listings every single month like we do,
and we were.
and you need to go to touracademy.com/take 10.
That was
The funniest thing about that lie is that
We didn't lie on that one. That was the
all-
truth.
No, that was the
Yeah.
truth. Is that all that we talk about whenever we talk to our friends is like what they're doing and what we can learn. And
Yes.
it's just like no one's ever keeping secrets.
No.
In fact, we're all trying to help one another.
Yeah.
You know who's
Yeah.
keeping secrets? The people who don't have shit to say.
That's so
like
true.
the
Yeah.
dude who won't tell you how he does something won't tell you because he doesn't know how he's
Yeah.
doing it, or he's at the very least not sure of if it's sustainable. Because I stood across from this guy in September or whenever February of 2015.
Yeah.
It would have been whatever. And I remember him telling me all the stuff he was doing, and then also saying at the end, like, because I asked specifically, "Why are you telling me all this?" And his response was, "You're probably not going to be able to do anything with this information."
And you didn't.
And I didn't.
Yeah.
Like I
I
really
was
didn't
right.
for a long time.
Yeah.
Right.
Later on, you did.
But
Yes.
the point being is like nobody's hoarding information from you. One, if you feel that way personally, you're probably talking to the wrong people or asking the wrong questions.
And you're probably hoarding information yourself.
And it's probably more of a mindset issue on
Yeah.
your part.
I will tell you that because look, we talked at the beginning of the show about the rolling recessions and now this kind of mindset. And I understand like maybe if you're at a small brokerage that that brokerage feels like it's an island, they don't participate in things. I'm going to tell you like more than ever, being a part of an amazing team or a big brokerage is going to open up the abundance mindset and the sharing. Look, everyone, like a lot of people at these smaller boutiques, independents will shit on the big bucks brokerages, but they're only doing that because maybe they wanted to get a little piece of the pie that the other brokerages were getting, but they're on an island and they're getting bits and pieces of information, but not all of it. You go to like something like when we were all a part of the Keller Williams Dallas Preston Road office. I mean, the amount of information that is shared and willingness to talk shop.
Yep.
And during the Great Recession, I remember I had a group that every Tuesday we would go to what we call, quote unquote, group therapy.
Yeah.
And group therapy was Tuesdays around here. They had great happy hours at some of the bars around here. It was like $2 and down. And so we would go there, talk shop, and kind of, misery loves company if we're kind of, having a shit week or a shit month. And then also it was talking about what's working.
Yeah.
And the things that we're trying. No one hid anything. And there was no agenda. It was just to share our war stories.
We've said that on this show before. You could literally reach out to any one of us and ask us about anything, and we'll tell you.
Yeah.
There's nothing that I'm doing that, I stole it from somebody else.
Yes.
It wasn't even my idea, right? So, yeah, you can have it too.
Yeah. So, all right, last. This has been great. I love this one. I think we're just going to just break down articles from now on.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Lie number 7. Success in real estate is only available to a select few.
This is true.
I don't think that's a lie.
Yeah.
This is true. The people who are willing to work hard and do stuff other people don't want to do are going to have success. The select few isn't predetermined, though.
Yeah.
It's not like you got left out. You can be part of the select few, but that is a personal decision on how bad you want it.
I remember when it was 2000, I joined KW in December 2007, and I think it was 2008. And, I was fumbling my way around, got a little bit of success, and then the recession hit, and I wasn't doing that well. And I remember going, it was like an early dinner. And I remember going to a place, and I remember Brett Caldwell, former team leader, which you hung out with this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
He was at dinner with a couple of the top agents, like Josh DeShong was one of them.
Yeah.
And I was just looking, and my now ex-wife at the time, she was like, just go over there and talk. I'm like, I didn't go over there because I didn't feel at that time like I deserved to even go over there and just chat. One, Josh was over there, and just chatted up with the team leader because I hadn't earned that ability and that success, and that was a wrong mentality to think about it.
100%.
Right? Because, something that, he's a friend of the show, has been on the show. He's going to start his own show with Tor Studios, David Bentnick.
Mm-hmm.
And what David does really, really well is he puts himself in rooms and situations that I'm like, bro, how did you get in there? He's like, just walked in. I just walked in and started talking. And I'm like, okay.
He does well.
I was like, dude, you're not even supposed to be in there. He's like, well, they didn't kick me out. And it's allowed him to go build connections that anybody else, like I will say just with more sanity, would be like, I don't belong in that room. I can't go in that room because I don't have X, Y, Z. And we've built that kind of mindset. Like that's a facade.
That's a human mindset, though.
Yes.
We see a sign that says don't walk here, and we automatically won't walk. I mean, there's been tons of social experience about this. Like, you can put a sign up that says don't stand in this line unless you're this, and people will just go stand this other longer line.
Yeah.
And then one person will go figure it out. My wife is this person. She's the person who will just ask the question or go in the place where I'm like, no, we can't park here. She's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Right? Those people do really well.
Yeah.
Right? The ask for forgiveness, not for permission. People and David does that really, because I'm the nervous person.
Yes.
I will stand on the edge of the conversation. I'm not afraid to go in the room.
Correct.
But I'm afraid to jump in and say anything for fear of being exposed for not supposing to have been there.
Yeah, I'm still to this day the same way as you. I think you are too, Brian.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Right? Like, that is exactly what I was talking about before. Like, this is, not to get too deep on it, but this is the emotional regression thing. When we feel small, we stop acting adult.
Yes.
Right? There's nothing adult about not feeling like you should be able to go speak to another adult at dinner.
Yes.
It's not an adult thing to think.
Yeah.
But we do that. There's triggers that we all have that make us regress to children.
Because they think that, one, they're better than us, or, more intelligent than us,
it's acceptance,
more
dude.
successful than us.
And you know what happens? Like 99% of the time, I guarantee if they saw you, they're probably like, why didn't Nick come say hi?
What a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true.
They're like, that dude is full of himself, which is, where people get this intimidation factor.
Yeah.
Or they're like, they don't care about anybody. In reality, they're like, man, why is no one talking to me?
Everything we
Right?
do as adults stems from a couple of childhood fears, right? Like abandonment, acceptance, like those types of things, and they still show up all the time. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be told no, not because I'm a petulant child, but because it makes me feel like I'm dumb and I did something wrong, and now I'm embarrassed in front of you because I did something silly, right?
100%.
I don't want to say something in a group of people and have them look at me weird, like I'm not supposed to be. Like, all of those things, like you said, they make you feel small, and so we avoid those types of things. When in actuality, like, there's no reason why you should be. Honestly, if they make you feel small, like, they're kind of the asshole anyways,
Yes.
right? You know what I mean?
Well,
and you're
that's the
better
thing.
off.
99% of the time, they're not even making you feel small. You're just feeling
You're just
that way.
yeah,
They're
exactly.
you're creating monsters in the closet that aren't even there.
Yeah,
Exactly. I like today's show.
I did too.
It's actually
Yeah.
been one of the more informative shows I think we've done in a while.
Yeah.
I did a great job at posting the.
You did
comments.
I love
Look at
that.
that.
I think
Look
we.
at that.
You're
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
Anytime we have a list, I'm all about adding
Doing
things
the
to
Yeah,
the list.
and I will tell you that this is probably the first time in show history that we actually went through all 7.
You want to, yeah. You want to hear something though? Honestly, like,
Yes.
like this list of 7. This is, if we just want to like take something actionable. Here's 7 things. Let's just say that you're maybe mid level with your real estate career, and you sell houses, but you're trying to start a team, or you're at a real estate brokerage where you recruit people. We just gave you 7 topics to talk about to other agents that you
Yeah.
could help shed light on with them, right? So like even just in the context of like
You're sharing too much information.
I know, right?
Yeah, stop.
Yeah.
You got to
I gotta
hoard it.
stop.
Remember, you got to hoard it.
like that's literally that is because I'm sitting here thinking like these are 7 topics I can use for recruitment videos. This is all
yeah.
shit agents worry about that I could use to send out to agents for
Yeah.
why they shouldn't worry about it, right? There you
Yeah.
go. There's your actual advice, you bunch of jerks.
Gary's gonna get it.
Gary is going to get it.
Yeah.
Gary already has all the slides. I saw him this week. People posted them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I will tell you, I got to give a little bit, like, again, I'm not with Keller Williams. I will tell you that the mega camp shit, that real estate information one is the best.
It's juicy.
The best in the real estate industry.
Yeah.
They do. Really
No one else can touch that.
They posted a couple of slides that I actually pulled down on percentage stuff and
Yes.
just the way that things have like some of these people shared that I was like that's just good
That is the-
information.
100%. No one else can touch that in the industry.
Yeah, he does a really good job. Of it.
I do want to see, like, we need Inman. Is it Mr. Brad Inman?
It's Brad Inman.
Is that his last name?
Yeah, it's his last name.
Did he change it to that, or was he born as an Inman?
No. I know some people who have changed their names for their business though. Like in Las Vegas, like
You
if
have
your
to.
name, you
Yeah.
have to. So
If
like,
you want to have a cool team name, like, like some people, like, if you wanted to be like Brian Las Vegas, with Las Vegas Real Estate, Brian's Las Vegas Real Estate Team, you'd have to change your last name to like Las Vegas.
no, one of my buddies from high one of my buddies from high school, his real estate name was Black Owl Realty. His last name was Hasselman. He changed his last name to Black.
Black Owl.
So now he's Shay Black.
Like you have to.
Oh,
change-
that-
He's
okay.
Shay Black now instead of Shay Hasselman.
So your name has to be like your team.
Your
has
team
to be a
name has to match your legal name.
So people change their.
He
names?
legally changed his name to Shay Black.
I did not.
Yeah,
know
he did it a couple
that.
of years ago. He was in our big referral group too.
Yeah, I know that name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is Brad Inman. So we would love to figure out how we can be, because we're a top 23 podcast with Inman.
According to Brad,
Yeah.
he sat down and made a personal decision
Yeah.
It was his idea.
to congratulate us.
Yes.
Least he can do is come on the show.
Yeah.
Tell
So
us-
if we
tell
can
us
get
to
him
our
on the
face.
show, who has a connection with that?
Gary.
You would think
Gary,
we-
he and Gary talk apparently.
Yeah, you would think we would.
You think we would?
Yeah,
You have a subscription.
I do. $1,000 a year. $1,000 a year subscription. So, all right, great episode today. The 7 lies that unsuccessful agents believe that are holding them back in the real estate business. This was great. Just tag an agent, share this out. Go join our Facebook group, the only real estate group worth being a part of. We don't push it out enough anymore. We need to do a better job. Be more consistent with us. So that's the lie that we're going to stop telling ourselves, is that people don't want to join our Facebook group, because they do. They want to be a part of that. And just go support these awesome sponsors. Maybe it's Theron with Armadillo. I mean, he might be back next week. He might not be. We'll
don't
let
know.
you know when you tune into episode 197 if we're still promoting Armadillo Home Warranty, which it is the best home warranty out there. I will tell you, hands down, it is the best. It is the best. Armadillo.1/Tore, Tore. And then you get over to Mortgage Mike, MMG Loans. It stands for Mortgage Mike Group. Loans.com. So mmgloans.com if you want to get that Mortgage Mike stamp of approval. He is licensed in Texas and in Oklahoma. We're trying to get him licensed in Florida. Beth Silverman wants to send all her pad split deals.
Nice.
She'll be here in a few weeks.
She'll be here in a few weeks.
Nice.
We're
Okay.
shooting some stuff with Tor Studios.
Sweet.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so tourstudios.com. You want to get an awesome podcast. You want to be the community champ. of your business and neighborhood and your sphere, the people that know, like, trust, and love you, you need to get with Jesse Showalter over at tourstudios.com. And then buy some rental properties. And then let Dana win. She loves Airbnb.
She loves them.
Does.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. You listen to the sarcastic in my tone there. She loves the VRBOs.
You give Dana an Airbnb in Paris, Texas.
Paris, Texas Airbnb.
Cloud
Yep.
nine.
Yep. She would just love it. So Dana Wynn, Homeward DFW, the best property management in Dallas-Fort Worth. So just go to homewarddfw.com.
Jesse,
Great show.
It was good, man. Get us out of here before Dana drives up here and beats these two up.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching the show today. Make sure if you're watching this on Facebook, you head over to our group, the only real estate group we're being a part of, so you can watch the extended conversation. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And if you listen on the Apple Podcast, leave us a review. We'd really like it. So just do it. Do it. Do that over there. Go to this one. Then go to that one. Thanks.